Hello, hello, hello. Testing. Okay, everyone, if you could please make your way up to the pitch stage. We are going to close the bar. The bar is closed, and we're going to open up a bar up here. But the idea is that everyone's going to be quiet for the pitches. I thought you weren't making it.
One more drink.
Hey, go. There's going to be a bar up here. I love it. Yep, make your way up here. Get a seat. Get a seat. Okay, we're 3 minutes behind schedule. Let's go. Scott, bar up there. I'm old school. Well, I mean, what else am I going to do? I'm old. I'm 44. Startup land. I'm the oldest one that I'm. The oldest. I'm the oldest person here too. Yeah, Zach looks older than me, but he's only not even 740 yet. Am I supposed to sit here at the stage? It doesn't matter. Just sit around. Nice to see you. Good to see you in person. Good to see you in person. Trevor.
There's still some more people coming out. You make the call, man.
Well, I don't know what I was supposed to know. I don't know when we do the FAR. We're starting in 3, 2, 1, and we're live! Welcome everyone to the second annual Life Sciences Investment Summit from Startup TNT and our incredible friends at Applied Pharmaceutical Innovation. We're coming at you live from the KPMG pitch stage at Platform Calgary. Some quick housekeeping. Washrooms are upstairs. Right there. Accessible washroom right below my feet, right down here. You get to it around, down these stairs and around.
He doesn't mean pee on his feet.
No, it is accessible down the stairs and around. And emergency exits are throughout the bottom floor, all around. You can find the emergency exits. And with that, to the meat of the story, I'm Adrian Mitchell. This is
Andrew Cohesic. And another piece that's a lot more important than housekeeping. API and Startup TNT, along with our partners, share a love of telling stories. And telling stories is an integral part of what we do together in the community. Even though we're not physically in the same venue, all of us, we still connect through one land that we share together. Tonight, we honor those elders whose stories this land carries, and we acknowledge this land as the traditional territory of the Treaties 1 through 11, and those beyond from everywhere in Canada that you might be joining us. We acknowledge that this land is the traditional meeting ground and gathering place and traveling route of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, and Dene peoples. We acknowledge the nations of the Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota Sioux, Siksika, Piikani, Kiani, and Tsuut'ina, and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. We acknowledge all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have walked this land before us. We aim to create a safe space for the Indigenous communities, and together we honor their mission and gather the community and share stories. Tonight is all about life science startups that we're developing products to improve the health and well-being of ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities. And now, a little bit more about ourselves. So, Adrian.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrew. Okay, so I'm Adrian. No, you sure you didn't want to talk about the agenda for the night, Andrew?
Well, that's after the introductions. I'm seeing
all
this
right.
right here, slide 3. But I will go through the agenda right
Okay,
now.
well, it's okay. I can introduce myself. So I'm Adrian. I've been a TNT investor for the last 7 years, or 7 summits, I should say. Startup TNT's only been around 3 years. 7 summits, and I'm the co-lead of the Life Science Summit with my dyad, who's in the audience right here, Gloria Tom at Startup TNT, and with Paramita Chaudhry Basu from Applied Science Innovation.
Excellent. And I'm Andrew Cohesic. I'm the CEO of Applied Pharmaceutical Innovation. We're a not-for-profit organization that focuses on building the life sciences economy. So now I'll dive into the agenda. And, you know, I didn't write cue cards for myself, so there's probably some sort of typing error.
That must be the key to success.
Yeah. I've got the original script. So right now we're in the introductions, obviously. At 6 p.m. we'll get to the pitches. Following that, we'll go to 6:45 for an investor deliberation. 7:45, we're going to announce some winners. Who knows? Every single company could be walking home with a big fat check. Or we might find out that they get checks weeks later. We'll never know. But at least one will get one tonight. At 8 p.m., we'll have a party. And at 9:30, we'll have an after party at the King Eddie across the street.
That's right. It's going to be great. Okay, so what is Startup TNT? Many of you have been here before, many of you haven't. So just quickly to recap, Startup TNT started as a weekly happy hour. As a happy hour in 2019 on our co-founder Zach Storm's birthday. It was his wife's birthday present to him that he could have drinks with his friends in the startup community. His investor friends, his founder friends, his friends like Andrew McIsaac who help startups every Thursday night. TNT stands for, in our case, Thursday Night Tradition. So that was 2019, and from that spawned an idea to have a summit. So in February of 2020, they had the very first investment summit where investors were pre-commit money and run a pitch competition. So here we are, 202 consecutive happy hours later, because this is Thursday, consecutive happy hours later, and we've had 19 summits. Our angels have invested over $9 million into 65 companies. We have over 260 angel investors activated through this process. And after tonight, we'll be at a minimum of 68 companies and 22 summits. So that's TNT in a nutshell, investing in Prairie's companies for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think a round of applause is due for that. I think you guys are probably the most impactful grassroots investment organization.
Thank you. Thank you. But we couldn't do it alone, Andrew. We couldn't do it alone because we couldn't do it without these incredible organizing partners that we have here. Many of them are in the audience tonight. Many of them, they work with the startups that we are investing in. They invest in, some of them invest in the same startups that we invest in. I couldn't do it without the help of my dyad at TNT on the life science side, Gloria Tom. I couldn't do it without your people at API because API deserves a special mention. Because this summit is really my co-MC's brainchild. Him and Zach put together the last summit. This was your baby, and I'm just honored to be here hosting this tonight with you. So can you tell us a little bit more?
Sure, absolutely. Very happy to. So API, for those of you who don't know about us, we were founded in Edmonton about 5 years ago, and our big goal is supporting the life sciences sector any way we can, in every way that we can. Like Startup TNT, we started off grassroots, self-funded through the work that we were doing, projects for industry. And over the past 5 years, we've now closed out about 55 industry projects, supported 50 plus SMEs, scale-ups, and spin-offs. And the incubated companies that we've had have now hit a market cap of over $500 million. And we've grown our net. Yeah, it's big. There's a lot of money in the life sciences, and hopefully a lot of the money that comes to the companies today will be the start of growing those numbers.
I like the sound of those returns.
Exactly. For us, we've got a network that's broad. It spans across, actually now across Canada, but predominantly in Alberta, with our main office in Edmonton. We've got a satellite site at the Life Sciences Innovation Hub here in Calgary. A huge shout out to our colleague Nima, who has really been. Oh, there you go. who's been really helping to champion the sector. And I just want to say, because we are here in Calgary, and because in Edmonton we talk about Edmonton, I have to talk about how awesome Calgary is. There is a lot of potential here, and we find, look at this packed house. You couldn't find a more energized room and more people that are interested in really helping this new and growing sector. Yeah.
Give it up. Give it up, Calgary. Calgary does love life sciences.
Yeah.
So is there any news? Any news?
There is. So if any of you folks have been watching the news, we just recently last week had a big announcement. We've got a $175 million project that was sort of taken on over the past 3 years, working to build more manufacturing capacity within Alberta for the life sciences, as well as enable security of supply for AHS and health systems around the world. It's one of our flagship programs that we've worked night and day with many folks, and actually many of the partners on this event have been involved in this over the past few years, and we're finally able to now green light it thanks to generous support of $80.5 million from the federal government. Yeah. Exactly. Part of that is manufacturing capacity, and part of it is building more capacity in Edmonton to match the great stuff that's happening in Calgary at the LSIH and groups like BioHubX. Hopefully the companies that continue to grow and thrive here will now be able to have more opportunities to manufacture their products here and get highly trained workforce that can go and work for their own sites.
No, that's pretty amazing. I think that by itself deserves a massive round of applause. $80 million from the feds? That is unbelievable. The impact that's going to have is huge. So congratulations, Andrew.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so a couple other shout outs. We have other sponsors, people that also contributed to tonight and to our success. We have CBRE. They're our best friends forever. They've been sponsors of us for a long time now. If anyone here wants an introduction, if they're looking for new real estate, like any startup founders in town, maybe they get money tonight, who knows? Come talk to me. We're happy to introduce you. We also have our best friends at Accelerate Fund. They've been partners with us since the beginning, and then a new sponsor of ours, one of our portfolio companies, company that many of you know. You can see the scintillas in the crowd. Good Lawyer, right? We also have our core funding partners. We have Alberta Innovates, Prairies Can. Could not do anything we do without you guys, and our community supporters, Platform Calgary, the LSIH, and Deal Closer, who helps us close all of our deals. Okay, Andrew, one question. Why do we invest in startups?
Oh, absolutely. So the real wonderful thing about the job that I have and the work that I've been doing is the ability for us to see the success of the companies that we've been able to help and support and grow. And it's not just the story of the success of a company, it's the story of the people who take a medication that was developed that wouldn't have been possible without the ecosystem that we're building. It's folks who have better health care as a result. It's folks who are able to have high-paying jobs when they graduate from programs in the life sciences across this province, across the prairies, and more broadly. I think the impact that you find in the life sciences is one that's extremely meaningful, because even if a company moves the needle forward with a specific product or a new process, and they might not be successful themselves, the body of work that they do is continued to be carried by the growing ecosystem of companies who take that research, move it forward and forward and forward. And at the end of the day, we're alleviating human suffering, we're enabling people to live better lives, and we're really doing something, I think, that's phenomenal. So, for us, on the life sciences side, that's, a real special piece for us. And then more broadly, from the startups perspective, startups are what grow our economy. They're what will really help Alberta, Canada, and beyond move forward and tackle the tough challenges of the coming century. So we are thrilled to be here. It's something I've dedicated my life to, and it's something that our good friends at Startup TNT have, and it's something that I think a lot of you in this audience here have as well too. So, I don't really need to give the reason why we do it, because I think we all do. But thank you for coming out, for investing, for being interested in the amazing stuff that's happening here.
No, that's awesome. Okay. I think if you ask, I was going to say, like, if you think of, I have my personal reasons for investing in startups. I think it's so incredibly important for the economy and for the future of our province and the prairies, across the prairies. Okay, so how do we at Startup TNT, how do we invest in startups? How do the summits work? You know, what many of you do know, many of you have now no idea. Well, I'll tell you, there are a group of investors here. They're hidden throughout the crowd. Every investor here pre-committed. Before they even knew who was applying to this summit, they pre-committed $5,000 to this summit, to the summit winner. Then we broke up into teams. Starting in January, we broke into due diligence teams, and we've been collaborating. We've been working with the founders. We've been having meetings. We've been going through data rooms. We've been diligently learning about the companies, getting excited, getting overly exuberant about these companies, getting pumped to pick a winner and hopefully pick some side deals. And then whoever wins tonight is also going to get a co-investment from TNT Capital, our Startup TNT VC fund, Fund 1. Many LPs here tonight as well. And that fund really was designed to follow on. So it's going to do an initial investment and then follow on future investments. That's how the summits work. That's how Startup TNT works. If you have any questions, find me afterwards. Happy to tell you how it works in more detail. All right, and so tonight, like I said, there's at least 30, maybe more, investors in the crowd. We're going to hear 5 incredible pitches. We have over, it says 350. I happen to know it's more like 370, 380 tickets sold. About 60 of those are live on YouTube and Zoom. So there's like 310 people who said they were coming or who are here already or who are coming a little bit later. So it's an incredibly, it's a good turnout. I think we got a new record for registrations tonight. This is going to be one epic night. Not to read the slides too much. Andrew, who's pitching?
All right, well, you can see their logos up on the screen here. We've got a lot of talent here that's going to be a really, really interesting pitch night, and I think will justify the big checks that we're going to see coming out of this. So you can see the logos on the slides. We've got everyone from wound care, diagnostics, AI-powered decision-making software. These companies are also at every life cycle stage from pre-revenue to post. And all of our companies, as required by this summit, are facing a regulatory pathway as part of their journey to commercialization. In no particular order, each company will be announced by one of our partner organizations who've been involved in the event. And after 4 minutes, each company will have 2 minutes of Q&A by a predetermined investor from the summit. Founders, it's vitally important to stick to 4 minutes as we work to keep it fair for everyone presenting today. We don't want to stop anyone in the middle of the pitch, but please be aware of your time. And if you go a little bit too far over, we will gently, verbally interrupt you.
We'll be as gentle as possible.
All right.
Okay, so one last thing. We're going to try something new tonight. What I'm going to ask and introduce to the stage one of our ambassadors, one of our longtime Calgary investors, Mr. Trevor Dufresne. Tell us what you built for us tonight.
Thanks, Adrian. Hi, everyone. I'm Trevor. I'm an ambassador and an investor with Startup TNT, and we're going to try something new tonight. I hope it's going to be a fun way to leverage all the amazing people who come to our live events. And really, we need your help. So you can see the QR code that's on the screen. It's also on cards that we've kind of distributed amongst the crowd. Scan that code with your phone and follow the link to a custom form that we've created and fill that form out during each of the company's pitch tonight. Why would you do that? Well, it's because we've received so many comments from our founders that the feedback they get from the investors at Startup TNT is very valuable and impactful for them. I'm hoping we can 10 times that. So maybe your insight or your LinkedIn connections or the opportunities you share tonight will change the trajectory of one of our companies. As a bonus, we're going to do some random name draws for Startup TNT and API merch over here. But really, it's not about the merch. It's about taking a moment to support the brave founders who are pitching live on stage tonight.
It's about the emerging technologies.
And that too. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great evening.
I love it.
Thanks so much, Trevor.
I love it. Thank you, Trevor. So remember, use the QR code during the pitches. You start during the pitches. There's like questions to answer while they're going on.
And founders, the gentle sort of reminder that you're over time will all start shouting out puns based on what you're saying. So it's a great way to get things transitioned over. All right, so now let's start the pitches. First off, I'd like to introduce Nima from the Life Sciences Innovation Hub. Nima, come up.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, this is wonderful. 3-4 years ago, if we were to say we were going to have an investment summit exclusively for the life sciences industry in Calgary, we would have been laughed out of the room. There just wasn't an industry to speak of. But now looking around the room, feeling the energy, seeing the crowd, I think it really speaks to the momentum that we've built over the past 3 or 4 years around life sciences. And I think it's all up to us as founders, as investors, as people in the ecosystem who support the startup companies to keep the momentum going over the next 4-10 years and really build something fantastic here. And it's events like the Startup TNT, like API, like all of these groups to support life sciences companies that make things like this possible. So I'm not going to keep my talk too long, just a few points about Innovate Calgary. My name is Nima Najand. I guess I should probably introduce myself. So we offer access to wet labs, access to molecular prototyping labs, rapid prototyping labs. We have advice consultants that can work with you one-on-one with your companies. We have a whole group dedicated to regulatory affairs and clinical trials. And then we have money. So we have dilutive and non-dilutive funds. And I always find money always perks people up. So if you need money, if you need any of those things, come find me in the networking area and we can chat and I can give you more information and more details about those things. But without further ado, I'll pass it over to Heiko Peters, who's going to tell you more about Alethea.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you. We'll take some of that money, Nima. Thanks. Where do I point this? I'm holding it backwards. Are you sure? This looks like it's, all right. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Can someone hit next? Oh, we're at the end. Thank you very much. Can we skip back 11 slides maybe? Perfect. There we go. Hello. I'm Heiko Peters, the CTO and co-founder of Alethea Medical, where we help you get specialist advice faster, way faster. Most referrals take months or years. If you have an issue that your family physician can't resolve, they fax a referral to a specialist. That fax usually says something like, please see patient, and lacks any useful information. Without that information, the specialist has no choice but to put you at the bottom of a very long wait list, during which you continue to suffer and possibly get worse. Alethea is a SaaS platform that enables physicians to treat patients in one day. If a physician has an issue, they can consult with our specialists who respond in 24 hours. Specialists can do this because they get digital diagnostics and other rich data that enables them to give better treatment faster. On Alethea, our patients have a reduction of 50% to their wait times, which means that you get treatment in one day instead of months or years. But our vision is AI specialists of the future, where you can get AI consults done in 1 second, so you can still get a treatment while you're still in your family physician's office. Our AIs already exist, and they are better at prediction than most family physicians, although they hate when I say that. But we need to move from prediction support to treatment advice so that you can get treatment on the spot, anywhere, anytime, no wait list required. And our AIs have won some awards, so we're pretty happy to have those on our mantles. Some of them are actually quite heavy. But there's 14 million referrals done in Canada a year, with over 240 million done in the US, where they do more wrong referrals in a year than we just do referrals, period. But 73% of those referrals would be better served as consults, where they can be done faster and cheaper. We have, as of today, 344 people, physicians on the platform, and 31 specialists. Revenue is up 60% since the summer. And in the last 3 years, we've gone from $0 to $1 million in revenue. And this year, we plan to 3x to $3 million in revenue. And we've done this by building a great team of awesome staff, some of which are sitting right here, and expert advisors. So Devin is an ENT surgeon and AI expert with several white papers. Stephen is a global leader in technology, sales, and healthcare. I have 20 plus years of software and delivery expertise, as well as startups. And Evan has built and exited 2 companies for over $160 million. So there's an experienced team at the helm. So we've spent the last 3.5 years de-risking the companies. So now we need capital to accelerate growth. We're seeking $1 million so we can dominate the Alberta market, expand across Canada, and start moving into the US. We plan on taking your money and matching it with Prairie's Can money, effectively doubling it and also de-risking the dollars while helping us to accelerate faster. Our goal is in the next 2 years to 5x your money when we do a Series A round for our US expansion. So we hope you join us in our raise and help us get improved patient care and reduce wait times for all. Thank you. Hey, how are you?
He's got the other mic.
Oh, okay.
Like, we can borrow this one. Let's just use this one. That's all right.
Oh, I don't really need a mic, but.
Okay, yeah, we could just. No, great presentation. Thank you. And it's been a pleasure to be part of the due diligence with you guys, and you've done a fantastic job. I'm kind of our resident TNT sales guy, so I always ask sales questions. On that slide, could you expand on the use of proceeds a little bit, and particularly around sales? You guys have hit some strong momentum there, but in particular, you guys have organized a partnership that I think is really exciting. So maybe tie that in. How are you using partner channel, and then how are you planning to deploy sales resources to scale?
Sure. So part of the money is going to tech, but most of the money is actually going to sales and marketing, because to move into Vancouver, move in Toronto, we need people on the ground. That just is more effective that way, right? But also, we're going to get growth through some of our partnerships like AVA. So by normal growth, we should hit 550 physicians this year. But with AVA and a couple of our other initiatives, we expect to add another few hundred to that. So we would be in the 800 to 900 range by the end of the year, which is basically almost 4 times what we started. So.
Wonderful. And then your plan with the AVA partnership is to build kind of a use case for other partnerships as well down the road?
Yes. Integration to the EMR is key. So this is our first one. We're also their photo op, so it's a very win-win application for us. But yeah, all doctors need their information in the EMR. Right now we use fax, but of course an EMR integration is even better.
Awesome. Can you elaborate a little bit on other technology implementations on like the diagnostic side that you plan to implement that are in the roadmap? Or?
Yeah, so we have a few AIs. Right now, the cool work that our team is doing is they're mining. So we have almost 10,000 consults, and so they're mining those consults to start predicting what the specialist would say. So in the short term, that'll be like workflow improvement for the specialist, but in the long term, it's to build our AI tricorder of the future, right? So.
Awesome. Well, thanks a bunch. Anything else you want to share with the people before we move on?
No, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Alethea.
Okay. So, Trevor Dufresne, where are you, Trevor? Who's getting a hat? Eric. Where is he? Eric Throm. I can't hear your name. Trevor, I'm handing this to you. You find him. Okay, all right. So next up, I would like to ask Jose Reyes from Alberta Innovates, one of our core funding partners, to introduce the next company. And then on Q&A, we're going to have Dr. Alex Chi.
All right, thank you so much. Hi, my name is Jose Reyes. I'm with Alberta Innovates, mainly with the Health Innovation team. Now, the Health Innovation team's objective or purpose is to help innovators and entrepreneurs like yourselves develop, validate, and implement technologies in the healthcare sector. With that in mind, we have a suite of programs mainly called the ACE programs, AICE, that stands for Accelerating Innovation into Care, to help you with that. So we have ACE concepts that will give you up to $200,000 to take your idea to a proof of concept stage. We have ACE Validate that will give you up to $300,000 to validate your technology. And ACE Market Access that will give you $600,000. This is like non-dilutive money, so that's good for you. Now, I must say that some of the companies that are pitching here, we funded. So if you apply and you're successful, you'll be in good hands. So with that in mind, I would like to present Oliver Baith from Qualisure Diagnostics. Please.
Thank you. It's a real honor here to present to you all today. My name is Oliver Bathe. I'm a cancer surgeon, and I'm founder and CEO of Qualisure Diagnostics. I'd like you all to imagine something, and I know that some of you have actually experienced this, and I apologize if this brings back bad memories. But imagine that you're a cancer patient. You're already sick from your cancer, and your doctor recommends to you a treatment that's going to make you even sicker. Something that's going to give you nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, crippling fatigue, sores of the hands and feet. And by the way, they're not even sure whether you're going to benefit. I've seen this drama unfold so many times in my own clinical practice, and when my mother developed lung cancer, I had to see it too. So really the solution to all of this is to develop diagnostic tests that help us to personalize cancer care. And the way we do this is to develop tests that enable us to identify cancers that grow quickly or slowly, identify the ones that have the capacity to spread to other parts of the body, and to determine which ones will respond to which treatments. So we have a platform for developing those kinds of diagnostic tests. And it starts by engaging with our network of expert oncologists to identify the unmet clinical needs. Then what we do is we apply our own machine learning algorithm, which we call HiLifer. And what HiLifer does is it scours very large genomic databases to identify the molecular features of a cancer that most closely relate to survival outcomes. So our first test is a test for thyroid cancer. The reason that we focused on that is that thyroid surgeons asked us to develop a test to help them to make better decisions. So the way this test works is we take a very small amount of the tumor and we look at the pattern of expression of those genes that most closely associate with recurrence risk. And that information informs the clinicians, the thyroid surgeons and the endocrinologists on decisions. So for example, if it's a low-risk tumor, then they could treat it relatively conservatively. So for example, performing a partial thyroidectomy or even observation in some instances. On the other hand, if it's a really aggressive cancer, then appropriately it would be treated aggressively by removal of the entire thyroid gland and giving radioactive iodine. So one of the things that makes us really different though is our capability to perform our tests anywhere in the world. And the reason for that is that we have a cloud-based software which we call Molecular Decoder. Molecular Decoder houses all of our diagnostic algorithms, and it really rapidly produces a test report no matter where the test is performed anywhere in the world. Of course, this is a really important data resource, but it's also going to enable us to access international markets. We're not a one-trick pony. We have a number of other diagnostic tests currently under development, each with very significant revenue potential. Right now, our focus is really to focus on the launch of Thyroid Guide PX. We're engaging with prescribing clinicians with some excellent initial traction. We had a really good meeting with Kaiser Permanente on Monday, and they're ready to go ahead with us with the next step. We think that we can access $40 million of revenue in the next few years. So this is our team. We have very diverse and complementary expertise. These people are not just rock stars because of their skill sets, but because we share a passion, the passion to personalize cancer care. So I hope you'll see that we have an excellent future, a very exciting future. We're poised to grow and currently raising $500,000, leveraged with a $600,000 ACE grant. And I look forward to speaking to any of you in the future if you have any questions. Thank you.
Oliver, thank you. And as a fellow cancer physician, I look forward to seeing how your tests will help our patients in the future. Now, you have your flagship product, plus you have a number of follow-up products as well. How do you plan to scale your company to meet these demands?
Yeah, so that's a really good question because we can scale vertically as well as horizontally. So our first goal is really to scale as much as possible with our thyroid test in North America, and then also scale internationally with the help of Molecular Decoder. But soon, by 2024, we expect to have 2 lung cancer tests coming out to the market, and we'll begin to scale vertically in addition to that, learning from the mistakes that we've made in the first test.
And with all these demands, I believe you'll have to grow your company quite a bit. What's your plan for engaging your sales force and growing that?
Yeah, so initially, of course, I'm the salesperson. I have to understand how to sell the test and what the pain points are for our customers. We hope to get a salesperson in the next few months, and then a customer success person, and then start to grow from there. I think the other thing that we'd like to scale on, though, is our technology group. Molecular Decoder is a really exciting product, and I think that we could really iterate on that very significantly, make a real cool data resource.
That's great. Thank you, Oliver.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next up, I'd like to invite Crystal Phillips from Thin Air Labs to introduce our next contestant.
Thank you. Do I click this?
It should be good. I don't think you need to. I don't know.
Can I give you the power?
I don't know what to do.
Take it.
Take it.
Hi. There we go. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Crystal Phillips. I'm the Vice President of Thin Air Labs Fund 1, and we absolutely love founders, early stage, and although we are sector agnostic, almost half of our fund is in the life sciences sector because this is where we see all the opportunity. So super exciting to know that we are in good company here tonight. It's my honor to introduce the next company. I think this is, are we changing? No? Okay. This company, along with all the companies that are in the finals, are really on trend with the future of healthcare. This is about precision, it's about prevention, it's about personalizing care. And our next speaker is, oh, there we go. Hi, thank you. Our next speaker is no exception to that. So let's give you a warm welcome and good luck with your pitch.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to TNT and API for putting on this great summit. Thank you to Platform Calgary for hosting us, and more importantly, thank you for everyone in the audience for coming out and supporting the life science startup community. It's great. My name is Colin Koros. I'm the Chief Commercialization Officer of Nanostics, and at Nanostics, our goal is to bring clarity to healthcare decisions. So we have a platform technology that uses machine learning to combine clinical data and biological information to help create a risk score or a probability of disease. And we can use, sometimes we use proprietary biomarkers, and other times we use common biomarkers for disease. As you can imagine, this has a huge impact on almost every healthcare sector. And indeed, from neurological diseases to cardiovascular disease and oncology. But we're a small company. We've decided to focus on uro-oncology. And today I'm going to tell you about our lead product called Clarity DX Prostate, which is a prostate cancer diagnostic test, which is 3 times more accurate than the standard of care for diagnosing prostate cancer. So why prostate cancer? Prostate cancer is one of the most diagnosed cancer in men and is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths. And the way we identify prostate cancer currently is through a simple blood test called a PSA test, or a prostate-specific antigen test. And if you have elevated levels of PSA in your blood, it could indicate that you have prostate cancer. The challenge is, though, 80% of people with elevated levels of PSA in their blood don't have any cancer at all. And this can often lead to a biopsy, because the biopsy is the definitive way to determine if you have prostate cancer. And this involves 12 needles into the prostate in order to get the biopsy cores. And because of the location of this procedure, it leads to many side effects, including sepsis and on some occasions, even death. And so we've developed a test called Clarity DX Prostate to help solve this problem. I'm showing you here the results of a 1,400 patient clinical study in which we showed the Clarity DX Prostate test is 3 times more accurate than PSA alone at detecting prostate cancer. And when adopted into the healthcare system, this could reduce the number of unneeded biopsies by 37%. And so this is what we look like. This is what the new standard of care is, what we envision. So we believe that PSA test should continue, and in men over 50, if they'll continue to get PSA tests. And if they have an elevated test, they would then go on to get the Clarity DX Prostate test. And the results of our test would go back to the physician and the patient, and they can make an informed decision whether or not they should go on to do a biopsy or not. And so, been really exciting the last few years, and I'm happy to say we're planning to launch our first test, ClarityX Prostate, this summer. And we're going to launch it first in Alberta in partnership with Life Medical Labs. Currently, we're getting our test, or to our lab, which is in the Life facility, accredited by the CPSA. And once that's done, we'll be able to sell this test to Albertans and men across Canada. Following that, we partnered with a company in the United States called Proteon Biodiagnostics. We're going to launch it later this year in the US. But our long-term goal is to license this test. Using the AI algorithm in this technique, we can license it to clinical diagnostics labs throughout the US and throughout the world. And this is what's going to really fuel our growth. So we put together a really great team of scientists, clinicians, and business development people to reach all these goals. And here, what we're looking to do is to close our $2 million SAFE round. We have $470,000 remaining in this round, and what we're going to use this fund for is the launch of our test here in Alberta, in the US, and really to support a larger Series A raise, which is going to happen later this year as well. Thank you for coming out, and if you have any questions, please come by and say hello.
I'll just take it. Thanks for presenting, Colin. I just have a couple of questions for you. So firstly, what are the 3 things that you need right now to scale? And I know you have some very aggressive plans for the next 6 months. So do you mind to share?
Well, the very first thing we have to do is get our lab accredited, and we're working night and day to do that. And once we get that those first sales, it's critical. And it's really critical because our next round is going to be much larger and much more aggressive. We're going to be going to institutional investors, and we're really trying to drive up our valuation as high as we can get before we get into those conversations. And then after that, we're going to use that money to really expand sales and marketing in Canada, the US, and really support the final development of the test.
And if there's one last thing you want to share to the investors tonight before they go and discuss the deal terms, what would you like to share?
Well, I think what I'd like to say is we have raised $6.5 million so far here in the province, all from angel investors. We've managed to raise an additional $5 million non-dilutive funding, and we've managed to get essentially to the market with that. That is extremely cost effective. Most companies spend sometimes 10 times that, and we couldn't have done it without the support of a nice ecosystem that we have here in Alberta, and we're hoping that all of our investors and ourselves are going to have big success with this, and of course it's going to really improve patient care.
All right, thank you.
Okay, give it up. That's great. Okay, just a quick little interlude. I want to invite a friend of TNT, a friend of the summits, someone who is a best friend sponsor of all 3 sector summits. You know, we're doing ag tech in Regina right now. We're doing clean tech in Edmonton right now. In fact, we actually have some clean tech investors at the KPMG Ignition Lounge watching the pitches in Edmonton right over there. Is Brett Colvin here? Brett, can you come down and say a couple words? Brett Colvin, good lawyer, one of our best friend sponsors. I think you have a couple words to say.
I thought you were going to skip me, so I wasn't ready, but thanks for having me. First off, the MCs never get enough credit, so quick shout out to this guy for driving the bus, bringing us all together tonight, and our friend Andrew right here from API. I don't have much to say, folks, but the one thing that I was thinking about today when Adrian said I had to say something was resilience. And, you know, resilience, I looked at the definition earlier and I'll try to get it, is the ability to withstand and recover quickly from difficulties. And I think that's exactly what we need as an ecosystem, as startup founders right now. You know, from my perspective, we are in one of the best places in the world to build a startup today here in Calgary and, you know, across the prairies, largely thanks to you folks. But the other thing that I think is that recovering quickly requires testing, iterating. I'm seeing these presentations and they're blowing my mind. And, you know, putting $10 million into developing a new test that never existed before, that required a lot of testing, learning, and iterating. So, you know, we're trying to do that every day at Good Lawyer. It's hard for me to believe that, you know, embedding the former director of legal from Shopify into a company like Helsum, like that was not something on the radar a year ago, but it is today. And so just to all of the founders out there, keep going, stick with it. Tomorrow's going to be even brighter.
Anything happening in June, Brett?
We may or may not be throwing a giant yacht party in Toronto for all of those at Collision and
Hold on, a yacht party at Collision?
something like that, yeah.
All right.
My boy Zach up there, fine Zach. He should have a box. I don't see it, but he should have a box. Throw your business card in. We're going to be handing out some yacht party tickets tonight.
So yacht party tickets up there in the top. Andrew
Fine,
McIsaac, I'm going to pass it back to you.
Oh, no. I'll triple fist. So the next introducer holds a special place in my heart. She introduced me to one of the most important people in my life, her sister, who's not my wife. It's my manager of my executive office. So Lisa from Health Cities, come on up here. Want two or one?
Thank you. I was not expecting that type of introduction, but thank you, Andrew. So my name is Lisa LaFerrier. I am the Director of Business Operations for Health Cities. Health Cities is an independent, not-for-profit, and we leverage our network of clinicians and care providers that we call end users to create platforms that companies like the ones you'll see here tonight can plug into to test and validate their solutions in a live clinical setting. So that can help de-risk them for investors and help get them to market faster. If you want to find out more about some of the work Health Cities does, you can check out our website. And also I wanted to let you know that on May 4th, we're going to be having an event here in Calgary, and I would highly encourage everyone to come check it out. Tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce Fiona Simpson from BioMimir. BioMimir is a female-founded medical device company enabling healthcare providers to improve treatment outcomes for complex wounds.
I'm a little nervous because that's the last slide. All right, so good evening, everybody. My name is Fiona, and I truly believe that regenerative medicine has the power to change the world. A year ago, I got my PhD from a regenerative medicine research group that literally developed a technology that makes the blind see. But despite the clinical trial being published in 2010, patients around the world can't access that technology because our universities aren't built to commercialize medical devices. It takes both a technical and an entrepreneurial skill set to do this. And I went back to school at 30 to get my doctorate to found BioMimir because I'm determined to make regenerative medicine affordable and accessible to people locally and globally who need it. And I just want to thank everybody who came here tonight in person, online, because it's our communities, our partners, our investors that help to make our version of healthcare a reality going forward. This is just a warning that if you want to listen and not look, I'll be fine with that. So this is Mr. S, and as an older member of the Canadian community, he has an assistive device, but he's new to it and he still trips and falls. This is what happened to him the other day when he tripped on an object in his house. This is a skin tear. And skin tears are acute traumatic injuries caused by the fact that aging skin doesn't have the same mechanical strength as young skin. And you can get this by falling, by being transported from, say, a long-term care facility to a hospital, from your wheelchair, everyday life. And skin tears come in a number of different severities. You can have mild ones, ones with partial flaps, and ones with total flap loss, and they are grisly. But one of the big problems here is that because the skin is so fragile, adhesive bandages, foam bandages, they just won't cut it. You need something flexible, something elastic to protect this wound and not cause further injury during healthcare. This is one of many forms of complex wounds like abscesses, ulcers, fistulas that are increasing in prevalence with our aging population and are currently involved in things like 80% of home care visits here in Calgary. They have a high risk of secondary infection and they cause a huge amount of disability within our communities. So our lead product, Mimir Wound Repair, is a liquid to solid hydrogel filler. So it starts as a liquid because this way it can treat any shape or size of wound. It's a single application permanent medical device. It's self-adhesive, so it puts itself in place. It turns into a material, it solidifies into a material that matches the tissue properties of your skin, giving people their mobility back. And because it is an anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial material, it helps to prevent scar tissue formation, giving people better function back. Our competitive advantage here is that we take healthcare practitioners and patients off of the cycle of bandaging and rebandaging wounds, and we help to save our healthcare system tens of thousands of dollars per patient in the process. Our first preclinical study was done in a rat surgical model, and we were able to show that our polymer technology increases wound closure by 20% 2 weeks post-surgery compared to things like collagen-only controls. In terms of our team, I told you a little bit about me, but I have 18 years of academic and industrial research experience, and I'm an expert in pilot-scale manufacturing for this type of technology. Our Chief Scientific Officer, Ella Dean, is a polymer chemist who comes from one of Sweden's leading regenerative medicine research groups, and she developed all of our intellectual property in-house. Our Chief Financial Officer, Ben, is a logistics and operations expert, and he was a regional director at a company that scaled to exit via an M&A last year. We're also supported by an incredible team of medical advisors. Dr. Lori Parsons is the head of the wound care clinic here in Calgary, Alberta, and her colleague Ranjani, who's an infectious disease specialist, looks at the intersection between infection and complex wounds. Their skill set is rounded out by Dr. Tanya Principi, the emergency medicine section chief here at Alberta Children's, who's interested in applications of our technology for acute trauma care. We're a little bit of a ways away from market. We're hoping to get an FDA 510K submission for this in Q4 of 2024. Right now, we're raising funds to support our small animal studies, our quality control, and our manufacturing studies to bring our product from prototype to commercial product. We have a pipeline of amazing new ideas, from liquid bandages to trauma fillers, and we hope to expand upon these technologies in the future. So we're BioMimir, we're changing the standard of wound care, and we hope you'll join us on our journey.
Great presentation, Fiona.
Thank you.
Okay, so what are the top 2-3 things you feel you need the most in order to scale?
Well, so number one is capital, because I wouldn't be standing here if I weren't raising, $800,000 and looking for investors. Number two is that we're looking for connections in the US healthcare market. As a small Canadian company looking to break into a big space, we need to make a big impact, not just at home, but south of the border as well. And finally, we're looking for highly qualified personnel, people like process chemists, quality control, quality assurance personnel.
Okay, if there was one final thing you could say to the investors tonight, what would you want us to know?
When I say I'm determined to do this, I mean it. I want to see these products not just here in Calgary, but all over the world in the next 10 years, and I hope you'll help us to do that.
You're a boss. Awesome. Thank you very much, Fiona.
Okay. Wow, we've had 4 incredible pitches so far. And before I get to, I know this is terrible. There he is. Okay, this is terrible. I found him, Gloria. Mina's here up next. All right, but before we get to that, we want to give a shout out to our beer tab sponsors. Gloria, Mina's here. Yeah. Yeah, we want to give a shout out to our beer tab sponsors. So in case you didn't know, when you were registering on Eventbrite, if you scrolled down, there was a little bit where you could say donate to the beer tab, and we had people donate to the beer tab. So we're just trying to pull that up. We had a couple other things happen really quickly. So we're trying to get to that very fast. See where the beer tab sponsors are. Gloria, are we going to get there? Okay, I'm going to keep delaying. Rather than delay that much further, I will do it right after this pitch. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce one of our community supporters who's been supporting us now since we threw the very first pitch on this stage, the KPMG pitch stage. Mina Demian, can you come up here, Platform Calgary? Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Man, you guys run a really good show. So my name is Mina Demian. I am one of the advisors at Platform Calgary. My job is pretty simple and straightforward, is to try to make entrepreneurship accessible to everyone. That's through our 180 members, including Startup TNT. What an incredible show that they have for us tonight. We also have an incredible program called Alberta Catalyzer, which helps incubate entrepreneurs all the way from ideation all the way into scaling. So if you're interested, please go on our website, and of course, welcome to Platform Calgary. And the only other thing that I wanted to say is it's going to be the last pitch of the night, and I am very proud to introduce Mr. Jordan Embers. I had it right the first time. Cohesic. That I got right. All right, Jordan, it's all yours.
Thank you. So one day, Mrs. C was experiencing severe heart failure symptoms, and her daughter took her to the hospital, and she was understandably frightened, but she felt some reassurance when the doctor, examined her, said, let's adjust some medications, and you can go home. Follow up with your family doctor next week. Unfortunately, she died a few days later at home. Now, this left her daughter, our chief operating officer, Christine, to wonder, what if the doctor had known what was going to happen? Would her mother still be alive? And this is unfortunately, all too common of a story where, we know how to treat patients, but we don't know who needs what treatment when. Now, we spend billions of dollars pushing the bounds of medical knowledge. And unfortunately, the pace of this innovation far exceeds our ability to operationalize it. And what this means is that knowledge, which is our greatest asset, is often locked away behind endless journal articles or within inaccessible databases. And here's the thing, in healthcare, knowledge deferred is life lost. So that's why we created Cohesic, the next generation knowledge platform that ensures doctors have the knowledge they need so patients get the care they deserve. Now, we have combined expert knowledge with real-world contextual data and predictive artificial intelligence. And through this, Cohesic is really transforming how cardiovascular care is performed. And we're doing this by providing best-in-class decision support to those frontline workers who are dealing with those cardiovascular patients. Now, we are already trusted by some of the largest healthcare networks in North America, and we estimate that our customers care for about 23 million people. And this gives us access to a broad population of cardiovascular patients as well as their associated data. Now, we already have access to 250,000 cardiovascular data sets, including all of their linked outcomes. And now what this has allowed us to do is develop algorithms using artificial intelligence to identify high-risk patients. These are patients who are at high risk of heart failure admission into the hospital or developing atrial fibrillation, which is one of the most common cardiac arrhythmias. Now, the way we've designed our system is such that these predictions can be basically injected right into our Cohesic platform into the clinical workflow. And what this allows is for that doctor to adjust their care in real time to that patient's needs. And we're not stopping here. We've developed an entire AI development pipeline to ensure that we can continue addressing the most important questions in cardiovascular care. Oh, and we're also working with pharma now to help improve treatment guidance. So at this point, we have validated our products, our business model, our sales and customer success processes, and we are raising $3 million to allow us to continue to grow our enterprise subscriptions within the US market. And then we are going to be using basically that install base to drive adoption of those predictive intelligence tools. That will be on a pay-per-use basis. Following this, we'll raise our Series A, where we hope to hit a $100 million valuation, and use that Series A funds to expand across cardiovascular medicine, as well as into other clinical specialties, such as neurology, oncology, and orthopedics. However, based upon the revenues from cardiology alone, we will exceed a $1 billion valuation. And this is very exciting for us, not just because it's a big number, but this really translates into real value for healthcare providers and their patients, and our investors. So in the end, we all want better care for ourselves and for our loved ones. So if you're interested in working with us, or you're interested in learning more, contact us, reach out, join the revolution, and we'll be here changing the world one heart at a time. Thank you very much.
All right, Jordan, thank you. Thank you. That was a very, very good presentation. Thank you. Got a few questions here for you. So it's been a struggle to get AI adopted in medicine, as we all know. It's a tough industry to break into. What has Cohesic done to overcome these challenges?
Yeah, thanks, John. So coming from my postdoctoral work, we really identified 3 key barriers we had to address. One was around data quality. So how can we get high quality real world data that can be used for AI? How do we ensure that our algorithms can perform well in the real world? And thirdly, how do we get that decision support into the clinical workflows so that the doctor doesn't have to interrupt what they're doing, where they can actually work with the algorithms to help improve care? So those are the 3 barriers that we've addressed with our products, and it's working.
So I saw on the map that you guys were all over Canada, some in the USA as well. Those markets are different. What have you done to adapt to the different markets?
Yeah, so really the problems we're addressing are universal across, whether it's a public system, a for-profit system, or value-based. So really what we've done is address, of course, the emphasis we put on different value propositions, but because we're addressing that kind of universal core problem, we are able to really work with every one of those networks, and in fact, we have customers in every different one of those sectors.
Okay. And the last question is, so it is difficult, let me just see here. It is difficult to talk about all these high-risk patients and all that stuff. Like, how much does it save healthcare in healthcare costs when you target these high-risk patients?
That's a good question. So when you look at these high-cost patients, so heart failure admissions or developing atrial fibrillation, what we're seeing now is that the first time you kind of encounter that event in the hospital system, it's already high cost. It's either an admission, which is $15,000 a visit, or it could be a stroke, for example. So we've done an independent economic analysis which shows, just very quickly for the heart failure model, that we're saving on the orders of $2,000 per patient per year. So there's definitely a lot of value being provided there by identifying those patients.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we figured out our technical issue, and it's now my pleasure to introduce my dyad at Startup TNT for this summit. Gloria, Tom, can you tell us about the beer tab sponsors?
Oh, this is my favorite part, Adrian. So who here is holding a drink in their hand right now? Well, there's some people we want to say thank you to for that. So for Life Sciences Calgary here tonight, I want to say thank you to Nishka Gupta for her donation, $50. Thank you very much, Nishka. We have 3 donations from anonymous sources, so whoever you are, thank you very much for supporting that. And then I have a really big one that I want to mention as well. So our co-MCs for the night, Adrian and Andrew over there, had a little chat amongst themselves, and they have decided $1,000 donated to the beer tab tonight.
Andrew is the majority of that. It's $1,050. You can figure out who the 50 is.
If you'd like to get in on the fun of this and donating, please feel free to send your donations to cheers@startuptnt.com. And with that, I'm going to hand the mic back to Adrian.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. All right, Andrew, let's recap the night. I mean, here we are. Like, we've had 5 incredible pitches.
Yeah.
This has been unbelievable.
We've actually had 7 because we were both pitching Startup TNT and API pretty hard.
Yeah, I guess that's true. No, but I mean, I think we've had an incredible night, and what's going to happen now is, if I could ask the investors to start making your way to the deliberation room. The investors are going to do this as quickly as possible. We're going to go deliberate for the next 45 minutes and decide who wins. We're going to reopen the bar in the bottom. We're going to let you guys all go network. We're going to let the anticipation build. And we're going to see who wins this thing in about 45 minutes. Woo! So thank you, everyone. Actually, before that, though, Trevor Dufresne is going to come down. He's going to give away some more swag. Andrew, you want to give away some swag with Trevor?
Can I throw them?
You can throw them. All right, so Trevor and Andrew are going to give some swag. Investors, please make your way to the deliberation area. We'll be back in 45.
Ready to go? It's on? Oh.
Yeah, it's on. Should be.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, if you've got a submission, hit that submit on the form and we'll see if you win. So we got
Joyan Cha. I think someone just won a hat. Mr. Cha? Or mix, or miss.
I'm going to grab these.
Sarah Elder. No problem. Hey, no problem. I feel like I got stuck with your dumb job, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We'll wait till later.
let you go. Let you go. I won't let you go. Oh, Paris, I won't let you go. Oh, Paris, I won't let you go. Oh, Paris, I won't let you go. Let you go.
Attention everybody, attention everybody. We will be making the announcement very shortly if you'd like to return to your seats. Come on back to your seats. We are about to make our announcement. Thank you.
Andrew. Okay, everyone back?
All right, folks, listen up.
Okay, guys. Everyone. We're going to announce the winner. Okay. This was tight.
Very tight.
I'm going to be honest, we had interest in all 5 companies. All 5.
There were some great pitches.
So that's why it took so long. That's why it took so long. There was advocates for all 5 and incredible arguments for all 5. And we rehashed 8 weeks of DD in 45 to an hour, which was, what did you think of that?
I thought it was great. It's also really nice to hear the advocacy for people's favorites. And I certainly had a few, even though I missed out on most of the DD. But I'll lead with my gut.
And Andrew did join us. Andrew is investing. This is fantastic. Okay, let's not belabor it.
Yeah.
Let's not belabor it. Andrew, what does that say? Who's our winner tonight?
Oh, it looks like the winner of the 2nd annual Life Sciences Investment Summit is BioMimir. Come on down here.
Welcome. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we need a picture with.
You guys go.
We're gonna take a picture with the photographer.
I might cry now.
Okay, we're going to do some champagne or Prosecco in a second. I wanted to say we have at least 2 side deals and people who want to invest in the other 2. So we have investor interest in all 5 companies. So, no, we're gonna announce. We do announce.
Okay.
So who are the deals?
Oh, I think we've got Nanostics on the board. It's looking pretty close to maybe 100K.
Yeah.
We'll find out as all things go forward. And then Qualisure Diagnostics.
Qualisure as well. Yep. Yep. And we have to talk. We're gonna spend the next few days talking to the other 2 companies because we have interest in all 5. So that's it. Thank you.
All is not said and done.
Sorry?
All is not said and done.
It's not said and done. We have we'll follow up outside. We'll have a drink. We're gonna talk. This is gonna be fun. All right. So let's enjoy the night again. Celebrate. Congratulations to BioMimir. Woo! Colin and Oliver, we also are going to want pictures with you guys for sure. Okay. Well, it was announced. Okay.
It's like a NASCAR moment, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, can we get the Nanostics team? I know there's more folks here.
Okay, thank you everyone. Let's get to the networking and the celebrating. This has been awesome. Oh yeah, I've been reminded 3 times to say that we are having an after party at the King Eddie at 9:30. So we can stay here till 9:30 and then we're going to the King Eddie. So my bad. And then can the volunteers and the TNT people hang back? We're gonna get a picture of us as well. At API.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.